What is going on, guys? This is Jake at That Fit Friend, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing, a try-on, and a first workout thoughts on the NOBULL Trainer Plus. So this is an exciting video because it has been a while since we have received like a big core construction update to the traditional NOBULL Trainer, so the super fabric trainer. So I have done my best over the last couple of weeks to not look a ton into this shoe. I ordered these mobily when I was on a trip the other week, literally the day they came out, paid for expedited shipping, took like 8 days, so just don't do what I did, just pay for standard shipping. But that being said, like I didn't look at the specs. I've been trying my best when I get hit with the targeted NOBULL ads to like not look too deep into the shoe because I wanted to save my first true impressions for this video. So that being said, let's go ahead and unbox these puppies. So this is the Super Fabric Trainer Plus. So I'm curious as to what the plus is in this model because they are a little bit more expensive than the traditional NOBULL Trainer. So opening it up, have the standard NOBULL packaging here. So boom, NOBULL Trainer Plus. Take out the filling in the shoe and the stuffing. So I'm already noticing a couple differences just touching these for the first time. And so two big updates to the shoe. What it looks like is the midsole and outsole. So in this model, it seems like we have a thicker midsole and a reworked rubber outsole patterning here. Overall, like the design actually looks pretty similar in regard to like the medial and lateral side of the midsole and outsole of the shoe. The Super Fabric feels pretty similar. I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparison and actually see if there are any updates to the Super Fabric upper and the Trainer Plus, but they do feel pretty similar. It looks like we have similar NOBULL branding on the heel back here and the posterior lateral heel. And then for the tongue itself, it also feels pretty similar. We still have some perforation throughout. And then as a whole, I'm curious as to why they increased the stack height and thickness of the midsole and reworked the outsole patterning, because if anything, I thought the midsole and outsole were pretty good in the NOBULL Trainer. Like, could they be reworked a little bit? Yeah, like I think the outsole patterning could have been redone in the traditional NOBULL Trainer, but I like that midsole. And if anything, I would say, like, why not rework it to where it's a little bit lower to the ground, but still give you a nice, stable, and versatile feel. So I'm curious as to why they increase the stack height of this model, because that will change biomechanics in some exercises, and it does feel a little bit heavier than the regular NOBULL Trainer. After my workout, I will weigh this trainer compared to the NOBULL Trainer because I am curious how much of a difference there is, because if I'm noticing it, feeling it right out of the box, I wanna see what the actual numbers read as. But as a whole, I don't know, like I'm very interested as to why they tweaked the midsole and outsole in this manner and if it's actually worth the extra money. Like, is this shoe worth it over the NOBULL Trainer, which is already kind of like a no-frills shoe for the price? So is this shoe worth the additional $10? That's the better question. I don't know, I'm curious to see how this performs. I like how my regular NOBULL Trainer performs, but I'm interested to see how the stack height influences lifts. And it also looks like we have a good amount of toe spring up here in the toe as well, which is also very interesting. I have a deadlift workout today and some active recovery work. I love doing my first impressions videos for this style of training because it gives me a nice, like, kind of lighter, more versatile session to break shoes in that isn't so demanding. But that all being said, guys, I will see you for the post-workout breakdown to share some thoughts on the NOBULL Trainer Plus.
Here, let's go back.
All right, so first workout done in the NOBULL Trainer Plus, and a couple of thoughts. Number one, I do like this reworked outsole patterning and the grip it gives. So when doing my sled work, I really liked how this gripped the turf, and I think this is actually a better move for this shoe in general compared to that lug patterning in the original. Not that this is a bad outsole tread by any means, but if you are somebody who trains outside a lot or on turf, I do like this outsole tread patterning. I think you're gonna get a lot of grip from it. The second thing is I'm actually not the biggest fan of the increased midsole thickness. So if you look on their product page, it's to increase the comfort and support in this model. And truthfully, like, I don't necessarily think it's a better thing for a lot of different cross-training settings, having a thicker midsole, but granted, like, that might be my internal bias because I like having a slightly lower profile shoe that sits a bit lower to the ground. I think you get a lot more ground feedback from that style of shoe. And when you increase the stack height, it is gonna change the biomechanics in the shoe a little bit. So like when deadlifting and doing some cleans, I did notice that I would have to position my hips a little bit differently, and that's just because the height difference of the shoe and how high your foot is sitting. And the only reason I do notice that is because with all the shoe reviews I do and with training in barefoot shoes, like you can recognize like difference in stack heights with different cross-training shoes and when you train barefoot, etc. So you will see a slight difference in your overall mechanics in some of the movements from the floor, so deadlifts, cleans, etc. The third thing to note about this shoe is that I actually think there's a bit more volume in this model compared to the NOBULL Trainer. So I think that could be a good thing for anybody who has their own custom inserts and insoles and they want to get a pair of NOBULL Trainers. So this might be a better option for anybody who needs a bit more volume in the midfoot and forefoot in their shoe. The fourth thing to note, and I said this earlier, is that I wanted to weigh the models. So in my size 10 NOBULL Trainer here, we have a weight of 10.65 ounces, and then in the NOBULL Trainer Plus, we have a weight of 12.8 ounces. So not the biggest deal, and I don't think a lot of folks will really notice that difference in their training sessions, but it kind of speaks to like the thickness of this midsole and how this shoe feels a little bit more clunky and blocky at times. And then when chatting on sizing and fit, if you are interested in this model and you want to grab it before the full review, I think you should be safe going true to size. The length fits true, and the width is what I would describe as like a neutral width. So this shoe never really felt limiting by any means for my training session today, and I never feel cramped in the toe box in regard to width or length. So I will have more definitive sizing and fit thoughts in the full review because I want to use them in different settings for like shorter runs, some plyometrics, etc. So stay tuned for that. That will be mentioned in the full review in the next couple of weeks. For an increased price point, like, I'm not exactly sold that this is better than the NOBULL Trainer. I do think there are a few niche areas where the shoe might take the cake. However, when it comes to this shoe's performance and the pros and cons that come along with this model, I want to get more sessions in so I could draw more context, and then we can more definitively say, like, is this shoe worth the extra price point? Is it better than the NOBULL Trainer if you're looking into NOBULL cross-training shoes? So that all being said, guys, if you have any questions in the meantime, hit me in the comments below or reach out to me personally. Expect a review of these in the next couple of weeks. I have a couple of shoes in the queue, and I can only train so many hours in the day. But as always, guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.